Time to find something to watch on YouTube. I've already seen that. Oh, hey, a new Nintendo Direct. I guess I'll give it a watch. Oh my! Now couldn't be a more perfect time to be a Super Mario RPG fan. Not only are we getting a remake of Super Mario RPG, but now we're getting a remake of one of the greatest RPGs of all time, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Saying that fans would be excited for this game would be an absolute understatement, as fans have been clamoring for a return of the flat plumber, and rightfully so, as fans have been through some bumps in the road. But that's what I'm here for. Welcome to today's episode of Let's Look Back in the Past. In today's topic, we'll be talking about the Paper Mario series. We got a lot to cover, so let's begin. It all starts with Nintendo getting ready for their next console, the Nintendo 64, and the success of Super Mario RPG. With Square finally seeing success in the West, and Nintendo preparing for a new system, you would think that Square would stick with Nintendo and possibly make a sequel. But alas, this was not the case. You see, Nintendo made a pretty questionable business decision by sticking with cartridges for the Nintendo 64. Which wasn't the best idea, because CDs-ROMs were on the rise, and the comparison was night and day. CDs were able to push video motion graphics, and were able to store way more data than a cartridge. Not only that, but they were cheaper to produce than cartridges. Nevertheless, Nintendo stuck with cartridges, but Square did not want to work on cartridges. So Square bit the bullet and left to make games on the Sony PlayStation. And to make matters worse, they would go on to make Final Fantasy VII, a game that pushed the Sony PlayStation and ended up becoming a massive hit, and ended any possibility of making a Mario RPG. Or did it? In 1999, Intelligent Systems started work on a Mario game for the Nintendo 64 called Super Mario RPG 2. Not much is known about this, other than a few images that show what the game could have looked like, and that ultimately the name got changed due to legal troubles with Square, since they still own some of the rights to Super Mario RPG. But as we'll see, that may have not been the original name for the game. Let's analyze a few images we do have and see what the game looked like during development. First, we have an early title screen for the game. The first thing we see in this image is an obvious logo with it saying Super Mario RPG 2. And the look of the logo looks very similar to the original Mario RPG logo. We can also see a copyright date of 1999, telling us that the development may have started around that time. We can also see some islands in the background, which I assume would be places that you would visit on your journey. In the next image, we see the use of old Mario sprites from previous games. Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi come from Super Mario World, but as for the Shy Guy, it's hard to say, as it looks like it comes from Super Mario All-Stars, but it also looks like it could have came from the GBA Super Mario Advanced game. With 2D sprites being in a 3D environment as placeholders, it might have been inspired the idea of paper characters. Also, at the top of the image, we see the name for the project, Mario RPG 64, which means that the game had a few name changes during development. That's all the screenshots we got. Let's move on to the game's release. On August 11, 2000, Paper Mario was released in Japan. Believe it or not, the game's name was changed to Mario Story. Not only that, but the game was expected to be released on the N64 DD, which was an add-on released for the system that ultimately bombed and was never seen outside Japan, so it ended up on a normal 64 card. The game was released internationally as Paper Mario in North America on February 5, 2001, in PAL regions on October 5, 2001, and even got a Japanese IQ Play release on June 8, 2004. The game also released pretty late in the 64's lifespan, but still sold well, selling about 1.37 million copies. But enough talk, let's talk about the game itself. The game starts with a cutscene where we see the story of the Star Rod, which holds the power to grant wishes, and how it's protected by the Star Spirits. Unfortunately though, Bowser wants the Star Rod all to himself, and steals it. Not only that, but he imprisons the Star Spirits thanks to everyone's fan-favorite character, Kamek! Sorry, Kammy Koopa. If you never heard about her, just wait till you see the rest of the game's cast. It seems like Nintendo just wants to forget about these characters. And it's an honest shame because these characters have some of the best personalities to see in a Mario game. Take for instance your first companion, Goombario, a Goomba whose idol is Mario. Not only that, but each companion has a specific ability tying into them. For instance, Goombario has the ability of looking into your opponent's stats, so you can see everything from them for attack and health, and how to defeat them quickly. Goombario is 1 out of 8 companions in the game. Along with that, we also have a new battle system. So let's take a look. The battle system in Paper Mario wears its inspiration from Super Mario RPG. The time-based battle system is here, but now there's a new addition, that being badges. Badges allow you to perform special moves or increase your health and attack power outside of using FP. They can be anything from stronger boots and hammers to increase your defense or even lower power point cost. Some badges are better than others, but ultimately badges will become a staple in the future games to come. Speaking of future games, let's look at the next installment. The year is 2001, and the Nintendo GameCube has just hit the scene. And around this time, Nintendo made quite the innovative twist. After getting their ass kicked by Sony with the Sony PlayStation, that sold over 100 million units, compared to the 64's 32 million units, Nintendo finally took the plunge and opted for disc media. Except it wasn't. I won't go into too much detail because we're talking about Paper Mario, but to take a long story short, these small discs were basically Nintendo's way of combating piracy, while also trying to be innovative. Anyways, back on topic, during the first few years, Nintendo went a different direction by bringing back their old IPs, and were giving existing IPs new games, such as Luigi's Mansion, Metroid Prime, and F-Zero GX. But over the years, gamers wondered if Nintendo would make a sequel to Paper Mario. Well, they would have to wait 3 years to see what Nintendo had in store for them. In late 2003, the sequel to Paper Mario entered development, under the name Paper Mario 2, as seen in an E3 demo in 2004. Not much is known about the development of TTYD, as it wasn't talked about as much. So, what did fans get after waiting for 3 years? The answer to that is one of the greatest RPGs ever made. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door was released on the GameCube on October 11, 2004 in the US. The game sold fairly well, selling 1.91 million copies. Not only did the game get player's choice, but it also got a bestsellers label to be put on future releases of the game. Critics also enjoyed the game, still enjoying it to this very day. As for the story, it's a bit better from the first game. You know, we go from Bowser trying to steal the Star Rod and control the world, to an evil organization trying to reawaken a being of mass destruction. Yeah, a bit of a step up. As for the battle system, it stays true to the first Paper Mario game, but now it takes place on a stage, where the audience watches you fight it out. The better you do, the more they'll cheer for you. In terms of sequels, it doesn't get much better than this. It took what the original did and expanded on it, which is all you can really ask for in a sequel. After the Thousand-Year Door, the series takes a turn. Super Paper Mario was released for the Wii on April 9, 2007. The game decides to take the classic RPG style of Paper Mario and turn it into a 2D platformer. While it removed the RPG style, it had great mechanics and one of the greatest stories in a Mario game. The flip mechanic allows Mario to go from a 2D space to a 3D space, where you can interact with the environment and find secrets hidden within. The game also features pixels, which are basically like the partners, that give you special abilities for Mario to do, like ground pounding and placing bombs. You can also use Tippy, your amazing butterfly companion, to find hidden doors and blocks. With all these mechanics, it makes the game have more uniqueness than just a 2D platformer. The game does still keep a few RPG aspects, such as leveling up and timing jumps at the right time as well. You can also use health items to restore HP, and you don't just die in one hit, you do have health points in this game as well. The game follows Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser having to try and collect the Pure Hearts in order to try and stop Count Bleck and his minions from destroying the entire universe. The game overall got overwhelmingly positive reviews, and the Thousand Year Door fans enjoyed the new changes. While the RPG battle mechanic was missed, this game became the best-selling Paper Mario game of all time, and still is to this day. Now all we have left to talk about are those games.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary Krabby. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, strap in, folks. It's gonna get worse from here. Paper Mario Sticker Star was released for the Nintendo 3DS on November 11, 2012. The game did bring back the turn-based battle system that we've grown to expect, but it added a weird twist. You needed to collect stickers to use in battle. The fun of the battles grew dull quickly. You had to save the rare stickers for bosses and the normal stickers for everything else. The game ultimately fell off due to a lack of story and subpar gameplay. And the same thing could be said for Color Splash. The game used cards instead of stickers, which they're basically the same thing, and it had the same issue that Sticker Star had with the gameplay. It was basically the same strategy, just save your stronger cards for bosses and your normal cards for normal enemies. The game had slightly better story, but overall it was just Sticker Star 2. And now we have Paper Mario Origami King, the latest game in the Paper Mario series. The story is another step up from the previous two, but once again they took a different direction with the gameplay and changed it. The only good thing to come out of this game was the Disco Devil scene. But it wasn't enough. Ultimately, it was just another mediocre game that failed to replicate what made the first three games so special. But now, Paper Mario fans are finally going to get the game that they've always wanted. A remake of the Thousand Year Door. Honestly, this might be the saving grace that could save the Paper Mario series. After having 3 mediocre games in a row, this could finally end that streak and bring a new generation to enjoy Paper Mario the way it started. Seeing as how the game is going to be almost 20 years old as of next year, I think I'm not the only one when I say that this game needs a remake. Not only can it update the graphics, but it can also open the door to new possibilities down the road. So not only do we have another Mario game to look forward to, but also another $60 out of my wallet. I'm never gonna get a break from this. Thanks for watching. If you have any series that you would like to be covered, please let me know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. See ya!